Casino, the only casino in the heart of downtown Detroit. Back here at Target Field, Jack Morris being honored today for his induction to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Throwing out the first pitch, Paul Molitor, Dave Winfield, Joe Mauer, all part of the pregame ceremonies as well. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad you are with us today. Tigers trying to get back on the winning track, Rod, but this is a Minnesota team that just won't lose at home.
Well, they're playing some good baseball right now. They don't play all that well when they leave Target Field, but when they're here, they're playing their best baseball. They're playing good defensively. They're getting some clutch knocks. Their bullpen has been locked down, and they've got that one guy named Joe Mauer, who's always been great.
And he was big last night in the win for them with that pinch hit 3-run homer. But Victor Martinez has been pretty good for the Tigers. 7-game streak right now. The last 3 weeks for him have been good.
You know, Ron Gardenhire was showering Victor Martinez with a lot of praise when we talked to him today, talking about his leadership skills off the field. We know what Victor can do on the field. In his last 21 games, he's really showed up. He's really performed well. He doesn't have the same kind of bat speed that he once had, but he still has real good hand-eye coordination. You can see the on-base percentage is over 400. He has 6 doubles and 12 RBI in that particular stretch. But right now, at age 39, Victor realizes that he's on the back nine, and his true value to this team, as Ron Gardenhire said today, is in the clubhouse. He talks to all the young players. I mean, Victor Reyes is a very young switch hitter. Candelario, also a very young switch hitter. They have watched how Victor has gone about his business. He has tremendous work ethic, and those guys really feed off of Victor. So he's good on the field, but he's really good off the field too.
All right, now as far as the Twins are concerned, we touched on Joe Mauer, another example last night of why he is so good. And when you look at Mauer and what he's done in his career against the Tigers, it's off the charts.
You know, they honored some other guys from St. Paul. As far as Hall of Famers are concerned, Dave Winfield, Paul Molitor, Jack Morris. They might have another one in Joe Mauer when his career is said and done. And if you look at what he's done overall in his body of work against the Tigers, well, why not? He's been tremendous against Detroit pitching. Take a look at the ranks here. I mean, he's been better against the Tigers than he's been against any other team. And really, Mario, you and I have had a bird's eye view of all those knocks that Joe Mauer has had against the Tigers. And last night's game is a perfect example of just how good he is, able to slow that game down in that particular situation and get that big home run against Lewis Coleman with only one swing. He threw him 6 pitches, and the only one that he hit was the one that he hit out of the ballpark. He's special.
All right, what do you say we get a win tonight?
We sure need a win. Then we can split this series.
They would be nice. The Tigers Twins just minutes away. Got a power surge in this series, to be sure. These two teams have combined for a total of 10 home runs in games 1 and 2. Stay with us. Lanham's first pitch coming up from Target Field. Tonight, beautiful night here in the Twin Cities. 86 degrees, our game time temp at Target Field. The Tigers looking for their first win in the series. They've dropped the first two in their starting lineup tonight. Presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. For the Tigers, it looks like this. It'll be Jeimer Candelario leading it off, then Jim Adduci and Nick Castellanos. Nico again batting cleanup tonight, then Vmart. He's been hot. Mikey Matuk, Rodriguez, Griner, and Reyes, your bottom three tonight for Ron Gardenhire. And they are facing the right-handed offerings of Cole Stewart, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
And Cole Stewart made his major league debut against the Tigers. It was on the 11th of August, and he acquitted himself very nicely for the first 4 frames. He had a really good sinker. He got 2 double plays while he was in the game. He only gave up 3 runs against the Tigers. Those all came in the 5th frame. So he did a very nice job with a power sinker. And defense behind the rookie Cole Stewart tonight is Rosario, Kepler, and Field in the outfield. Field with 4 assists. Rosario in left field, 8 assists. Sano, Polanco, Forsythe, and Joe Mauer in the infield. And Mitch Garver is the starting catcher. Last time Mitch Garver caught Cole Stewart, it was the first time he'd ever caught him.
Joe Mauer was the hero last night. He will get the start at first base in this one here this evening. The Tigers had a 3-0 lead in last night's ball game, but some late power by the Minnesota Twins, and they snatched the victory from the Tigers. Twins have won 7 consecutive games here at Target Field.
As well as the Twins are playing right here under their manager Paul Molitor. If you're the Tigers, man, if you score a few runs, you got to keep the pressure on Minnesota. You got to score as many runs as possible because they feel like they can't lose here right now.
Well, we learned that last night, to be sure. As Jeimer Candelario leads it off. Jeimer batting .226. And here we go. The first pitch of tonight's ball game is outside.
Jeimer Candelario pretty much has been in that leadoff spot for the last week or so.
Adduci and Castellanos to follow. 1-0 pitch hammered deep to right field. That ball is up there, and that ball is going to go off the wall. Candelario is on his way to second. He will start things off with a double against Stewart.
A better start here tonight against Stewart than they had the last time that he went up against him. They know that he's got that power sinker. He's got about 93, 94 with his fastball. Jeimer makes him get the ball up in the strike zone, and he gets underneath it, and he hits it off the out-of-town scoreboard for a leadoff double. Tigers in business here in the first.
Candelario had 2 hits against Stewart the last time they met, and he greets him rudely here with a double in the first inning.
And last night, Adduci came up in a situation like this, and he bunted the runner over to third base. What will he do here?
Adduci batting .260. He has 2 out of 8 in the series. A couple of homers, 7 RBIs for the Tigers first baseman, who has seen most of the reps there with the injury to John Hicks. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's outside. 2-0 now on Jim Adduci.
And very important for Jeimer to look around to see where everybody's playing. With the shifts these days, you got to know where the third baseman is. You got to know where the outfielders are. Shortstop playing directly behind you. Usually a ball hit right at the shortstop, you could go to third base. But you have to be careful in these different shifts. You have to know where everybody's at.
Sliced up the middle. It's going to advance the runner. Candelario will go to third base, and the bounce out for Adduci is a productive out. 1 gone. If the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries.
And Tigers fans ate some curly fries, what, on Friday?
They had 4 home runs in that game.
Yeah. Thursday, excuse me. All these days start to run together about this time of year.
Now Castellanos, and Nick looks at ball 1.
And Nicholas has the entire right side of the infield for the most part at his disposal. Should he try to hit something in that direction, just to drive the run in, you might as well. Candelario can get a really good lead at third base because Sano's so far off the line.
Outfield very deep on Castellanos, who comes in at .292. A recent surge at the plate has lifted his numbers. He has 18 homers now and trying to pick up Candelario.
See, Candy can get off a little bit further because Sano at third base is way back right now.
Flat-footed swing there by Nick, and now he's down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And time now for StatCast AI, powered by AWS. And they are defending Castellanos exactly where he hits most of his balls on the ground. Therefore, very important for Nicholas to try to hit something the other way. Now the second baseman's moved over a little bit on the right side of the infield.
Down he goes. Castellanos chasing up top, and Stewart with a big strikeout. His first of the ball game. There are 2 gone now for the Tigers.
Yeah, Castellanos usually gives you a better at bat than that, with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. It's a 4-seam fastball right here. Up top.
Yeah, we'll leave it up to Nico Goodrum, who is 3 for 7 in the series. Nico has hit safely in 4 straight. And now seemingly has settled into the cleanup spot in the Tigers lineup. He has been there quite a bit lately.
Last week or so, Nick, he's had some quality at bats. Outstanding plate appearances by Nico Goodrum.
Nico this year against his former team, 343 with 5 home runs and 10 driven in.
He and Cole Stewart were teammates for 3 different seasons when they were in the minor leagues. Fort Myers, Chattanooga, 2 of the stops that they played together at. And it doesn't look like he's going to give him anything to hit.
Well, pick your poison. A red hot Victor Martinez on deck. Nico waiting on a 3-0. He'll take a walk, 4 straight. Goodrum is aboard now with 2 outs. That'll bring up Victor Martinez, and it brings us to the Bernstein advantage. Victor Martinez in his last 21 has been on fire.
.520 average with runners on base in the last 30 days. 13 for 25 is the Tigers' veteran designated hitter.
Seven-game streak now for Martinez, who is 4 for 5 in the series. Had a big night last night.
And most of his hits in the series have gone the opposite way, whether batting left-handed or right-handed. When batting left-handed, he has hit the ball to left field. When batting right-handed, he's hit the ball to right field.
5 straight balls now for Stewart.
Stewart doesn't look as sharp here tonight as he looked when he made his major league debut against the Tigers about 6 days ago. Has not thrown a first pitch strike.
Now 2-0 on Martinez. Stewart, just 23 years old, born in Houston, Texas, first-round pick in 2013. There's a back throw, and back in there is Goodrum. He got back into first base.
Stewart was a high round draft choice as well. I believe he was the 4th player taken in the country that year.
He was indeed number 4 overall. The Astros had the first pick that year. Mark Appel, remember him?
I sure do.
And then Chris Bryant and John Gray, the Rockies. There's your umpiring crew. Jeff Nelson behind the dish. Bouncing ball right side. It's going to go to the outfield grass. Going to be a tough play, and Martinez is out. Nicely done by Logan Forsythe as they take a hit away from Vmart. Tigers threaten but do not score. Carpenter will take the mound. 3 in this series, and it's going to be Ryan Carpenter on the hill, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Brian Hardy had to go on the disabled list, and that earned Ryan Carpenter another start. You can see what his numbers are this year with the Tigers and down in the minors. 15 starts in Toledo with a 5 ERA, 73 strikeouts. He's walked 20. The left-hander struck out 161 last year in AAA, so he's a decent pitcher.
He was with the Rockies last year in the PCL. He throws a strike to Joe Mauer. 274 for Mauer. Had the big game winner in last night's ball game.
And Joe Mauer will take the first pitch of an at-bat 96% of the time, and he took that strike from Carpenter right down the middle. And Ron Gardenhire was speaking to the media today, and he was talking about the Coleman Mauer matchup in last night's contest. He said he had the right guy in there. He had the guy that he had in it that he wanted to get a sinker ball, but Mauer just would not swing at any of the two seamers at the bottom of the strike zone, eventually hitting the big homer.
Well, you can set it up as best you can based on the pieces you have, but they have to execute. And Coleman just could not make the pitch when he needed it the most.
It's one of those reasons why you always want to have at least one left-hander in your bullpen. Tigers do not have one right now.
2-1 is outside. 3-1 now on Joe Mauer.
He's got a great eye. Always has. Had a really good eye.
Driven deep toward left center field. Reyes on the run, still going, and Mauer has hit it out.
Joe, stop it.
An opposite field home run for Mauer, his second in as many at-bats against the Tigers, and it's 1-0 in favor of Minnesota.
Joe Mauer has taken 2 swings in the last 2 days, and he's homered twice. He's got this crowd fired up here in the first inning.
Only his 5th home run of the year, so he came into the series with only 3, and now he's hit 2 more.
He's just so patient. I mean, he just won't leave the strike zone. He takes the first pitch strike, and then finally on the 3-1 count gets another fastball right over the heart of the plate, and he does what Joe Mauer does best. He hits the ball the opposite way.
Here is Eddie Rosario.
And Rosario will be up there swinging. He is the definition of a free swinger, from the bill of his cap all the way down to his shoe tops.
Rosario homered in the ball game last night after the Tigers had built a 3-0 lead. He hit a 2-out solo homer in the 6th, which gave the Twins a little bit of life, and then they scored the 4 runs in the 7th to go ahead. The Mauer home run is registered at 404 feet. They played a pull on Rosario. Carpenter now with the 2-1 pitch. That's lined to right field, and Castellanos will play it on 1 hop. Wide turn for Rosario, who has a single. Here's the rest of the Twins lineup, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Top 2 are followed by Jorge Polanco, Miguel Sano batting cleanup, then Logan Forsythe, and Max Kepler in center tonight. Garver, Austin, and Field in the bottom 3 spots.
Carpenter held left-handed batters to a .256 batting average down in the minors, but has been greeted rudely by 2 left-handers tonight. Mauer the home run, Rosario with the solid single.
Polanco batting .283. He's hit safely in 19 of 23 games. Seven swipes this year for Rosario, who's very aggressive off that bag. He's been caught only twice. That's fouled back out of play. One ball and one strike. The count on Jorge Polanco. Miguel Sano waiting on deck. Home runs in consecutive bats for the third time in his career. But that was the first time Mauer ever let off a game with a home run.
Yeah, the previous 2 times that he had consecutive at-bats with a homer came back in his MVP season in 2009. And that's the year he hit 27 homers, and the most that Mauer has ever hit in the big leagues. Ron Gardenhire said today that
it's fouled away.
Joe Mauer could have hit a lot more home runs, hit 28 home runs that year, excuse me, in the MVP season. But Ron Gardenhire said Joe Mauer is the guy that could have hit for a whole lot more power had he wanted to.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me, we made this comp earlier, of a guy like Ichiro, who's such a tremendous hitter.
Yeah.
But possessed the power and decided to try and win batting titles instead of home run titles. Here's the 1-2. Slice to right field. Castellanos is on the move. Can't get it. Over his head off the wall. On his way to third, Rosario chugging in there. And he is safe, and a double for Jorge Polanco. 3 straight hits for Minnesota.
McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. And Mikey Montauk is back out in left field for the 3rd consecutive night. Reyes in center field. Reyes with that classic at bat in last night's game. I'm sure we'll show you that at some point in time tonight. Castellanos, you know that he's over in right field. Candelario Rodriguez, Goodrum Adusi in the infield, and Grayson Griner is behind the plate.
Still nobody out as Miguel Sano comes strolling in. 2nd and 3rd for Minnesota. And Sano looks at a high strike. Sano has homered in the series. He's knocked in 3, batting .222 overall this year, but his numbers early on were poor. That'll float a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Carpenter doesn't throw very hard. His top fastball probably about 90 miles an hour, but you still have to at least show inside to keep these right-handed batters off of the pitches when you do want to go outside. You have to show in there. Good pitch. It's the last pitch that Sano's looking for. Matthew Boyd was so successful with this similar type pitch that Carpenter just threw here too. The dangerous hitter Sano. You can't be afraid to go inside.
Swing and a miss. Sano is down on strikes. First strikeout of the ball game for Carpenter, and that'll bring up Logan Forsythe.
And the previous pitch was a 90-mile-per-hour fastball inside that Sano jackknifed out of the way of. And then he came back with a 78-mile-per-hour really good breaking ball toward the back foot of Sano that Sano swung right over the top of. It's a big out right there.
Forsythe batting in the 5 spot in this ball game tonight. 5 for 9 in the series, but all that damage was done in game 1. He'll pull that one to third, and they almost got a double play. Hard hit ball right at Candelario. 2 away.
Johnny on the spot was Jeimer Candelario, and he nearly got to the bag before Eddie Rosario got back.
That'll bring up Kepler.
And Kepler has 5 home runs this year against left-handed pitching. Dead pull hitter when he hits the ball on the ground.
In the air to right field, Castellanos coming in, and they'll minimize the damage. Only one run for the Twins. Will go to the second. Jack Morris, of course, was honored before the game here today by the Minnesota Twins for his induction into the Hall of Fame. 1991 with the Twins, 35 starts that year.
10 complete games. How about that?
And he went 10 innings in Game 7, the most in Major League history, the World Series MVP.
That was one of the best World Series games I'd ever watched on television.
I would agree.
Ever.
There's Jack doing some radio here in Minneapolis.
Dan Gladden over there doing the radio with Jack scored the winning run in the World Series that year.
1-1 strike on Mikey Matuk. It'll be Matuk, Ronnie Rodriguez, and Grayson Greiner facing Cole Stewart.
And Tigers did a pretty nice job against Stewart in the first inning, getting some balls up in the strike zone. They had a runner on second base, nobody out, but they could not push a run across the board.
Two balls and two strikes. Chop to the shortstop. Polanco running play, throws him out. One away here in the second. Some Hall of Famers in the house tonight with Jack Morris, Paul Molitor, Dave Winfield, a St. Paul native.
It could be 4 Hall of Famers there in the near future once Maurer shuts it down. I believe he has a legitimate shot of getting to the Hall of Fame too, Mario.
Well, there's a whole lot of talent right there from St. Paul area, and they kind of celebrated that before the game today. Winfield from St. Paul along with Molitor and Mr. Morris. Ronnie Rodriguez looks at a ball inside.
Bert Blyleven also in the house. He does television for the Minnesota Twins. He's a Hall of Famer.
Ronnie batting 196, 2 out of 8 in the series. Had a base hit in the 9th inning last night to keep the Tigers' hopes alive. Swing and a miss. Got him. 2 gone.
Some more on Joe Mauer. Yeah, talked about him a little bit in the pregame show, whether he's Hall of Fame worthy or not. Ranks in the top 5 in Twins history in games, hits, doubles, RBIs, and walks. He was an MVP, Silver Slugger, 3-time Gold Glove winner, and he won 3 batting titles. We were talking to Ron Gardenhire before the game, and Ron Gardenhire says, man, he thinks he's a Hall of Famer. Had he not had those 3 years where he was kind of injured, he might be knocking on the door to 3,000 hits before his career's over.
The concussions were a big problem for Mauer. It's really slowed down his production. Grayson Griner, the batter. And Griner looks at a strike.
It was Griner that got it going against Cole Stewart in his major league debut against the Tigers. Tigers weren't doing anything against him. They were grounding out to the left side of the infield. And Griner came up and got that big hit the opposite way. Then Victor Reyes got a big hit. And they went on to score 3 runs.
And he takes his walk. It'll be a 2-out base on balls for Griner. Second walk of the game now for Stewart. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. I dare to say that Victor Reyes had the best at bat of the season last night.
I would not disagree with that.
Now, it didn't drive in any runs. It wasn't a game winner, but it was a 13-pitch at bat in which he fouled off 8 pitches and drew a walk.
Epic at bat.
To keep the game going in the 9th inning, a game the Twins eventually won. But for a kid that has had as little experience in the major leagues as Reyes, not to mention stepping off the bench to do it.
Those are the kinds of at-bats that you can build a lot of confidence from. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, McGill was pumping in 97, 98
every
fastball
pitch
after fastball after fastball.
13 straight pitches, 95 and above.
Stewart has gotten ahead of him 0-2.
Yeah, Stewart's already throwing ground balls here today. He's already thrown 3 of them. You got to make him get the ball up in the strike zone. You know what he's like, Mario? He's like a poor man's Kyle Gibson is what he is.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
He's very young, not nearly as mature as Gibson threw last night. He threw 4 ground ball double plays to Gibson. And Stewart's got that same kind of sink on his fastball. Lots of movement, lots of late life.
I read a quote from Stewart after his last start against the Tigers. He said, you know, I was really good early on with my sinker. He said, in retrospect, I probably should have kept them off balance a little bit more with my breaking balls and off speed pitches, because eventually the Tigers got to him in the middle innings of that game.
It's kind of hard to do when you were having as much success as he was having through the first 4 frames. He didn't even need his breaking ball.
Hammered to center field on a line, but Kepler is there, and that'll end the inning. No runs. Tigers get a 2-out walk, and we'll go to the bottom of the 2nd.
The better fate than he got last night. He ended up losing the game, giving up 4 runs, but for the first 6 frames, he had only given up 1 run, which was a home run. Went out there in the 7th. In a span of 7 pitches, he was out of the game, and the bullpen could not hold it for him. Matthew was outstanding last night.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking. He did not give up a hit until the 5th. The leadoff single by Austin, and then the home run barrage that followed. 6 1/3, no walks. 7 strikeouts last night for Boyd.
Matthew's sporting some new spectacles over there. I've never seen him in glasses before.
Very studious look. He looks like a college professor.
Yeah, pass for one. You know what they say? Fake it till you make it.
1 ball and 1 strike on Garver. Bottom 3 coming up here for the Twins. You've got Austin and Field to follow. And Carpenter goes way outside, 2-1. Only 1 run scored in that first inning, the Mauer home run, but the Twins had some hard hit balls against Carpenter.
I'd like to see Carpenter do a little bit better job of pitching inside the same way that he pitched to Sano. And he was able to set that breaking ball up beautifully by going inside to Tigers' talented third baseman.
Now he's gone to 3-1 on Garver. 2 RBIs in the series for Garver. Popped up, shallow center. Reyes coming in. Garver retired, 1 gone. Well, the Tigers host the Central Division rival Chicago White Sox Saturday, August 25th at 6:10. First 10,000 fans get a 1968 50th anniversary Mickey Lolich bobblehead. For ticket information, go to tigers.com.
50 years ago.
Tigers celebrating the anniversary of that championship team in '68. It's Tyler Austin.
And Tyler Austin got himself a changeup yesterday from Matthew Boyd in the 7th inning, and he hit the ball 451 feet. He absolutely killed that changeup.
Oh man, he's hit another one deep to right field this time. That ball is way up and at the facing of the upper deck.
How do you hit a ball that far, man? Batting right-handed, that's a shame.
A 1-out solo shot for Austin, who now has 3 homers against the Tigers this year.
That ball left his bat at 108 miles an hour, and he hit the ball to right field like a left-handed pull power hitter. You don't usually see right-handers hit the ball that hard the opposite way. My goodness.
You know what I've noticed about his swing?
What's that?
Especially in the ball game last night, the homer he hit last night, less is more with him. It is not a max effort swing. That's chopped right back to the mound, and they will get Field for the 2nd out.
That's a great point, partner, because he's some kind of strong. He hit the ball 451 feet last night, and that one right there was still going up when it hit the facing of that 2nd deck out here.
Well, here's what he does against lefties in his career. 11 homers and a .309 average.
That's why they got him.
That one traveled 422 feet. Here is Mauer now with 2 outs.
So he's nearly got 1,000 feet of home runs the last 2 days.
He sure does. Mauer went the opposite way in the 1st inning for a leadoff home run. Mauer, after his home run last night, is now hitting .429 with men in scoring position. That is the best in baseball this year. No one has been more clutch than Mauer in those spots. That almost hit him, spun him out of there. 2-1.
What do you think Mauer's chances are of getting to the Hall of Fame?
On the fence, I don't know. I think the point you made of the concussions, had he not missed the 2 or 3 years where really they were the prime years of his career, I think he'd be closer. He's got a little over 2,000 major league hits. That's driven foul back out of play. But I think if you stack him up right now against a lot of the folks in the major leagues, yes, he's won batting titles and MVPs. I just don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. It wouldn't shock me one day to see him in there.
I mean, it used to be a prerequisite where you had to be a 20-game winner for a number of years, or you had to be a 30-homer guy, or a guy that hit 500 home runs, or a guy that got 3,000 hits. Usually those would get you a ticket into Cooperstown.
Yes, chopped to first, and Ducey will make the play.
Now it's a lot about numbers and WAR and statistics that get players into the Hall of Fame.
Home run by Austin has made it 2-0. Twins have the lead now. It's a 2-0 ball game as we go to the top of the third. Top of the order coming up for the Tigers. It'll be Candelario, Ducey, and Castellanos. Facing Cole Stewart. First pitch chopped to first base. Right there is Mauer. One pitch, one out. It'll bring out Jim Ducey. I don't know if you had a chance to see the article that Chris Pekoski of the Detroit News wrote on Jim Ducey the other day. Really good article.
Yeah, I saw it, but I haven't read it yet. I saved it, though.
Yeah, it's about his dad, Jim Sr., who played briefly in the major leagues. And Jim is just so hard on himself. He's kind of a perfectionist. And he's had to fight and battle to stay in the big leagues. And his dad has pretty much told him, look, you need to enjoy every single day you've got in the major leagues.
Absolutely. It's hard to do, though.
Absolutely.
But his dad is absolutely right, though. Especially the path that Jim has taken to get to the big leagues. I mean, he had to play overseas, lots of minor league ball. Didn't he play some independent ball as well?
He did, yeah.
I mean, so for him to take that path to get to the movies, you better enjoy it.
I mean, I wonder how many guys are truly able to enjoy the big league life, knowing that every day you've got to go out there and produce, and you're playing 162 every year.
Well, the guys that are always playing with a smile on their face. Those are the guys that are having the most fun, the superstar players, the guys that know if they go 0 for 15, 0 for 20, they're still going to play that next day. Matuk doesn't know that. Griner doesn't know that. Victor Reyes doesn't know that. A lot of these young kids don't know that yet. That's why they grind so hard, and that's why the at-bats are so important to them. They don't know whether they're going to play tomorrow or not.
When you got to the big leagues, Seth, for all those years in the minors, I mean, was it the same for you?
I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, but I didn't get a chance to play that much. But I enjoyed every day that I was in the major leagues for sure. Especially the '84 team. How could you not?
Right back to the mound, and Stewart not going to be able to make a play here. It'll be an infield hit for Adducey.
Stewart looked just so nonchalant at that ball that was hit right back at him, almost like he had it in his glove. And then all of a sudden the ball trickles out of the glove over to the third base line, and he gives Adducey a base hit.
It'll bring up Castellanos.
Looked like he was trying to be too cool for school out there.
It'll be the second hit that he's allowed. He struck Nick out on a pitch that was out of the strike zone back in the first.
And remember that Stewart throws a lot of ground balls, so Nicholas has to make him get the ball up in the zone. You don't want to hit one on the ground. And the first time up, he punched Nicholas out. He threw him a couple of slow breaking balls to get ahead of him, and then he finished him off with a 93-mile-per-hour fastball that was up and out of the strike zone. And Castellanos is a good breaking ball hitter anyway when he gets breaking balls in the strike zone.
Two and 0. Stewart in the minor leagues this year did not strike too many guys out. He was only about a 6 strikeout per 9 inning guy, but his ERA was about 4.5 in the minors.
He's been able to keep the ball in the ballpark. That's really one of the things that Stewart has done really well in his minor league career.
Ground ball foul.
In 106 games in the minors, he's only given up 24 homers. And you can credit that to him having a really good sinker ball. He gets the ball down. He gets lots of ground balls.
Well, before the season started, they pulled him in and said, look, our data indicates you're throwing too many four-seam fastballs. We need you to start throwing more sinkers. And he bought into it. A high draft choice. It's fouled out of play. I think he saw some guys passing him by in the Twins minor league system, and it opened his eyes a little bit because he was supposed to be on the fast track for as high as he was drafted. I mentioned in his last start against the Tigers, he was going to go to Texas A&M and play quarterback there.
And which means that he's a pretty good athlete. Downtown Minneapolis was some kind of busy today, man. People were going over to watch the Vikings play.
Runner goes and is fouled off. So I got up early this morning. Well, early for me, which is not early for most, but I was walking around downtown around 7:38, and it was already hopping with Vikings fans.
This is a vibrant downtown, man. I can imagine this is what Detroit's downtown is going to look like in a few years. People everywhere. Great restaurants. You got the 4 sports teams downtown within blocks of one another.
Now again the 2-2 outside, 3-2 on Nick. Tigers let him off the hook in the first after a leadoff double. They couldn't score. A 2-out walk in the second, and now a 1-out infield single in the third. So they've had traffic. Runner goes on 3-2. Grounded foul again.
That sinker, man, is a tough pitch.
Here are Stewart's minor league numbers in the prospect ranks. You see, in 2013 he was the 4th rated prospect, and then all of a sudden in 18 he dipped down to 28.
Yeah, a little wake-up call.
Whoa. And you can see the ERA was consistently getting higher as well.
He's got a hard sinker. That last one was 95 to Castellanos.
And he walked him. 2 men on now for the Tigers. We'll bring up Nico. He's at 50 now.
And Tigers are making Mr. Stewart work awfully hard out there, making him work a lot harder than he had to work in his first outing against the Tigers that came back on the August 11th. He walked Nico Goodrum on, what, 5 pitches his first time up?
4, I think.
4 pitches?
Yeah. Ball 1.
Nico Goodrum has been destroying his former teammates. He's got an OPS against him of nearly 1,400.
Oh. Let's add to that right here. And Nico looks at ball 2.
His contact to damage ratio simply off the chain. There it is right there. 10 RBIs, 5 homers. And Nico been straight showing out against Minnesota. Stewart didn't want to throw him a strike.
Nope. Again, missed it outside. 3-0. That's going to bring Garver out to the mound.
But how about the takes by Nico, though?
Well, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University.
If I'm Nico here, I'm taking a swing. He's going to get a strike. But the only key for Nico is don't try to do too much. I mean, take a really good controlled swing. You want to hit the ball in the air. You don't want to hit it on the ground. But I would swing if I was him.
Nope. It's a strike on the outer edge.
91 two-seam fastball on the outside corner. Looked like he had the intentions of swinging.
A Ducey an infield single and Castellanos a walk. And he walked him. That time he missed it outside. Nico with his second walk. 4 in the game now for Stewart. And they're loaded up. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. It all started with that ball hit right back to the mound.
That he was too cool on. He only walked 1 batter in his start against the Tigers at Comerica Park when he made his major league debut. And Victor Martinez has been the Tigers' hottest hitter in these type of situations.
Victor had a hit taken away by the deep playing second baseman Forsythe. Went to the outfield grass to throw him out. There's a strike called on Martinez. Tigers have to take advantage of this chance.
Well, they've got the right guy in the batter's box. He's the veteran. He's been in this situation a number of times in his big league career. No doubt Victor knows how to slow the game down here against the rookie Cole Stewart. In 4th season as the Twins manager. He was on Ron Gardenhire's staff. Ron Gardenhire's last year of manager of Minnesota. As a matter of fact, Paul Molitor credits Ron Gardenhire for getting him to the big leagues.
Low again. 2-1 on Victor.
How about these patient at bats?
Yeah, he's not expanding the zone at all.
Nor did Castellanos. Nor did Nico Goodrum in both of his plate appearances today. If you're Nico Goodrum, you got to get a good secondary lead at first base. If the ball's hit on the ground, you want to try to beat it to second base.
Two-1 is ball. 3 inside. 3-1 on Martinez. And he's going to force Stewart to throw a strike here.
they've got some stirring going on now in their bullpen. That would be Minnesota.
This is going to be the 60th pitch here in the third now for the right-hander, 60 total. Little pop up, back is short, and it's going to be caught by Polanco. Sounded like he broke his bat too.
He did break his bat. Cole Stewart got in on Victor Martinez. And a nice play by Polanco, who got turned around, but athletic enough to still make that play. Fell behind Victor Martinez 3-1 and came inside with a good hard fastball.
So with 2 outs now, it's going to leave it up to Mikey Matuk. Mikey bounced out in his first at bat. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Tigers got an infield hit from Aducey. Walks to Castellanos and Goodrum. Martinez got to 3-1 but popped up. And Duffy working now in their bullpen. Strike 2 now on Matuk. 94 right at the knees. And now the crowd back into it. Stewart trying to wiggle out of a major jam here in the third. High, ball 1. Well, at this rate, even if he wiggles out of this, they'll be having to go to the bullpen at some point tonight because the pitch count is way up now on Stewart. He is already at 63. Only in the third. Got 27 this inning. Almost hit him and did hit him, and Matuk will force in a run on the hit batter.
Thank you very much.
He got 2 strikes on Mikey and hits him. 2-1 ball game.
That 2-seam fastball got away from him and got Mikey Matuk on the left thigh.
It's going to bring the slow walking Garvin Alston out to the mound, who can't be too thrilled with what has transpired here in the third. He had a chance to get out of this inning with the 2-strike count on Mikey, and then he drilled him.
Yeah, you can tell by that look on Garvin's face. He's not too happy. His first year as the pitching coach here in Minnesota.
So now Ronnie Rodriguez will stand in. Tigers get a run. The RBI for Mikey, his 9th of the year. Rodriguez struck out his first time up. Fly ball right field. It's going to chase Field back, going to the track to the wall, and that ball's off the wall. 2 runs will score. They will stop Matuk at third, and Ronnie Rodriguez has given the Tigers the lead. Two-run double to the opposite field for Ronnie Rodriguez.
I did not know that Ronnie Rodriguez had that kind of power the opposite way. He jumps on the first pitch fastball that is right down the middle at 96 miles an hour. It's the hardest pitch of the night thrown by Cole Stewart. Played nicely off the wall by the right fielder Field, but not before 2 runs in, and Rodriguez standing at second with a double.
It's going to be it. Paul Molitor coming out to take his starter out of the game. Cole Stewart done for the night. Pitching change for Minnesota. The Tigers have taken a 3-2 lead. Yeah, they're still fairly deep in that rotation, but certainly a big blow to the Boston Red Sox as the first one comes home to Reyes, or Griner rather, outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
And Chris Sale with a 1.97 ERA, which is the best earned run average in the American League.
Second and third, Tigers have scored 3 to take the lead. Tyler Duffy now in the wall side windows pitching change.
Yeah, 11th game for Tyler Duffy. He's got a 5.52 ERA, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks. Got a good fastball, gets up to 95. He's got a power curveball. Curveball's dirty. There it is right there at 75 miles an hour. Good to see the Tigers push some runs across the board here.
Yeah, Stewart looked like he was going to get out of the jam when he got ahead of Monta, bases loaded, then he hit him. And then Ronnie Rodriguez following with a double off the right field wall.
Yeah, this Minnesota Twins team is hot in this ballpark. They've won 7 games in a row right here at home. The Tigers have to score as many runs as possible here tonight to secure a victory.
3 balls and 1 strike on Grayson Griner, who walked in the second. Stewart walked 4 and hit a batter before departing. Chopped the third base and 0. That'll end the inning, but the Tigers grab the lead with a 3 spot. The Little League World Series always reminds us of Lloyd McClendon, so we'll retell the story of legendary Lloyd when we come back. 2 as we go to the bottom of the third. Menards brings you the big money encounter as Eddie Rosario walks to the plate. Rod, you were talking earlier about how he will swing at just about anything.
Yeah, anywhere from the middle of that cap all the way down to his shoe tops. And basically what this graphic is telling you is that he's a really good bad ball hitter. Anything close to the strike zone, he can hit it, and especially on the first pitch. You have to really be careful against Rosario on first pitches.
There he goes. He swings and misses, though.
He homered against Matthew Boyd yesterday on the first pitch breaking ball.
Rosario, then Polanco, and then Sano.
21 homers for the talented left fielder.
Laying the pull on the infield versus Rosario. Here's a slow bender that misses outside. 1-1. Cole Stewart went 2 2/3, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 3 runs. High fly ball got under this one to right center field. And Castellanos steps right in front of Reyes and makes the play. Let's bring in Johnny Kane.
All right, guys, time for your DTE Know Your Own Power. We go back to 1971 Little League World Series. Tigers hitting coach Lloyd McClendon at 12 years old. Well, he and his hometown team out of Gary, Indiana, became the first all-black team to make it to the finals of the Little League World Series. And Lloyd McClendon earned his nickname Legendary Lloyd because he homered in 5 consecutive at-bats during the tournament. In fact, they were the only recorded at-bats for him because all the other plate appearances, they intentionally walked him. Legendary Lloyd was born back in 1971. I had a chance to talk to him about it before the game, and I said, is it true that's where the nickname derived? He said, yeah, but it didn't follow me into the big leagues. Did play 8 seasons in the majors, but perhaps he peaked at 12 years old. I can relate.
I think Lloyd's done okay, don't you, Ron?
Absolutely.
He's done just fine.
He's had a nice career.
Been a player, a manager, coach. 2 gone here in the third. I love those chin straps they were wearing back in the day. Not those helmets.
Lloyd grew up in the same town as the Jackson 5, so you know that you had to be somebody special growing up in that town with Michael and Jermaine and Tito.
Gary, Indiana, right?
Gary, Indiana.
Sano takes a ball outside. Sano struck out in his first at bat. Tigers have the 3-2 lead here in the third. Meanwhile, there was a really good play by Griner to throw out Polanco, who had dropped down a bunt. Sano watching it inside, did not go. Carpenter allowing a home run in the first to Mauer, a home run to Austin in the second. Both of them solo shots.
Sano just can't stay back long enough.
He has pitched him all over the place. Drilled high in the air and deep to left center field. Reyes going back to the wall, and it is gone. Another home run for the Twins. Sano got him that time, and now it's a 3-3 game.
Lead didn't last long. That is the 11th home run of the season for Miguel Sano. He hung a breaking ball here in the 3-2 count. It was pretty much right down the middle, and against a big, strong, physical guy like Sano, the end result a lot of times is going to be that ball going over the fence. I mean, that's 80 miles an hour in a center cut. And he had just thrown him that same pitch on the previous pitch. The exact same pitch.
The Twins have hit 9 home runs in this series.
Where are they getting all the power from?
No idea. That last Sano home run went 419 feet. Here's Forsythe. Forsythe lined out, a sharply hit ball to Candelario in the first inning. That'll miss outside. He's gone 3-0 now on Logan. .407 now this year with the Twins, following the trade that brought him from the Dodgers. Kind of strange to see a Twins game without Brian Dozier. He had been a fixture here 7 seasons plus. Average about 24 homers a year for the Twins. .3-2.
And Minnesota did Brian a favor, trading him to a team that's in contention out in Los Angeles, the Dodgers. He was going to be a free agent after this season was over, and they probably weren't going to try to re-sign him. And then again, maybe they'll bring him back.
Always a possibility. You look at this Twins team, and yes, they really purged. They traded a lot of players away here at the deadline, but still, they've got Mauer, Rosario, Polanco, Sano.
They feel like they could be in contention next year with the right moves in the offseason, and the maturation process of their left fielder Rosario, their shortstop Polanco. They'll have Forsythe for a whole season.
Popped up right field, chasing Castellanos back. Nick under it now, and that'll take care of the side. They get a run on the Sano home run. And Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Reyes will lead things off now for the Tigers here in the fourth. Reyes, then Candelario, and Ducey. 3 home runs in this game for the Twins. Popped up bunt. Duffy's going to haul it in. Good idea, poor execution. One away. Reyes trying to utilize his speed.
And the one thing about that Reyes bunt right there, your feet can't be moving once you make contact with the ball. You have to be stable in the batter's box, and you have to place the ball where you want it to go, and then you run. And we'll take one look at that Reyes bunt, and you'll see that his feet are moving as he bunts that ball, and that's why he bunts it straight up in the air.
That's in there. A strike called on Jeimer Candelario. Double and a ground out for Candy as Rick Anderson does some teaching.
Talking about the wrist on the changeup. Getting that wrist in a different area where you can get different action on the changeup is what he was doing with his wrist. Rick Anderson always talks to his pitchers after every inning. Some words of encouragement.
Now the 1-2. Seems like Rick Anderson has the perfect temperament to be a coach. He understands it's really hard, especially at this level, and is very patient. Spent a lot of years with Ron Gardenhire in Minnesota. And it's a ball sliced to left field and caught by Rosario. 2 gone.
Wanted to go back and revisit the bunt by Victor Reyes. We talked about this being a good idea, but look at the feet here. See how the feet are moving in the batter's box? One up, one down. Now the foot's still moving, and it looks like he slips on the plate. He's on the plate, and it looks like he slips on the plate, and therefore he just doesn't make a good bunt here. But you got to keep those feet still. Jamer barreled that ball up nicely.
Yeah, that ball was drilled, and it looked like for a moment that Polanco might not be able to make that play.
Had a lot of backspin on it and stayed up there for Rosario.
Infield single for Adduci, hit one right back to the mound, and that got it rolling for the Tigers. They eventually scored 3 in the 3rd. Two and 1 on Jim. Mata's 5-game hitting streak now for the Tigers first baseman. Off the plate. 3 and 1. Duffy had to come on and get the final out of the 3rd, now trying to get a 1-2-3 4th. Fouled away. Hey, as you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moments later in tonight's game. 3-2 on Jim Adduci. Should he reach? Castellanos on deck. Fouled away. Here's a guy right below us with a Harmon Killebrew jersey on that brought his glove to the ballpark. Got that glove on the ball but couldn't squeeze it.
Oh, he couldn't catch it.
Oh man, that's heartbreaking. And it almost dropped in the hands of that little youngster there. Pulled fair down the right field line. It's going to rattle around the corner. Adduci is on his way to second, maybe more. Nope, he's going to pull in with a double. It'll be a 2-out, 2-base hit for Jim Adduci.
It's the second knock of the day for Adduci. Now that ball gets down that right field line, and he's got 2 on his mind and able to scoot to second without a play.
Two-out chance now for Castellanos, 3rd double of the year for Adduci. Nick, a strikeout and a walk with those 2 at bats versus the starter Cole Stewart. Ball 1. Two and 0 now, the count on Nicholas.
Tigers batters have been in fastball friendly counts all night long. The starter, Cole Stewart, did not throw a lot of strikes, and he was behind just about every Tigers hitter. Nicholas now finds himself in a good fastball count, and he got a breaking ball and a dandy from Duffy.
Well, Stewart walked 4 and hit 2 in his brief appearance tonight.
That's a rough outing.
That was a great pitch there by Duffy.
Outstanding pitch in that count for sure.
Popped up, heading back toward the seats. Mauer long run. Won't get there. 3 or 4 rows back.
Joe Mauer won a few Gold Gloves as a catcher and nearly won a Gold Glove last year as a first baseman. And really his first full year at first base, he did not make his first air until mid-August.
Just a pure athlete. We talked about his background of football and baseball, and he's going to go to Florida State to play football. 2-2 on Nick. Grounded foul. Tigers have one more here, and then they've got an off day on Monday. It's a unique vantage point.
Big brother trying to take the ball from his
Give
sister.
it back. Huh. Swing and a miss. Castellanos goes fishing again, and they'll throw down to complete the strikeout, ending the inning. No runs, double, 1 man left.
Back to work. Of course, this is Carp's 4th start here in the big leagues. You remember coming off, he was called up, he was promoted by the Tigers in April, right? Made 3 spot starts. And the problem was that oblique injury kind of popped up out of nowhere, and it forced him to be sidelined for 2 months. In fact, he wasn't able to start throwing again until July. So he had to go down to Lakeland, Florida, and work for a couple of months. He said the biggest thing that he learned during that time off was he had to build his core strength up, which I think a lot of us can relate to. But he felt like he needed to get the core strong, get the arm strength back up. Hasn't felt any lingering effects of the oblique injury, and now he's back in the bigs.
Johnny, you can't relate to bad core structure there. Come on, man.
Well, I'm just
You're
saying,
in great shape.
So I appreciate it. But it is interesting when you hear a lot of these guys talk, because when he was down there, he actually worked with Daniel Norris a little bit. And of course, Norris hasn't missed too many workouts either. But a lot of these guys, when it comes down to that core strength, that really can't be understated as far as the value, not just for position players, but in particular with pitchers like Carpenter.
No doubt.
Well, he's given up 3 homers in this game, but fortunately all have been solo shots. Mitch Garver stands in. Did they have obliques when you played?
I didn't even know what an oblique was.
I didn't either, man. It's gotten more technical and more precise.
We used to pull hamstrings. Now they tear hamstrings.
Garver fly to center field in the second. 3-3 game. We're in the bottom of the 4th at Target Field. Game 3 in this series. Two and one. Carpenter signed in February as a free agent.
Had a good year in AAA last year. 161 strikeouts in the Pacific Coast League.
Skied toward left center, shallow. It's Matuk. It's Reyes. Reyes stumbles.
Oh, he hurt himself?
Oh gosh, I hope not. That was Matuk's ball all the way, and Reyes fortunately is laughing it off.
My goodness. Calm down, Victor. He's embarrassed. He should be.
This is what Gardy was talking about a week ago.
Oh my goodness.
Let's watch Victor.
Slips.
Now, I assume you got to go hard until you figure out you can't catch the ball. But,
Yeah.
Victor's just been kind of a little bit out of control.
He's a wild stallion.
He is. That's the best way to put it.
He's a wild stallion.
Just the reaction of the crowd. Whoa.
Replace your divots.
Tyler Austin homered in the second. Oh, 2.
And Carpenter is 10 of 17 in first pitch strikes thrown. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, curve, slider, and the changeup. Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Ryan Carpenter. He had top fastball so far, 91. And he's gone as low as 73 with that curveball.
Drilled to center field, base hit. 2-out single for Austin, who is now 2 for 2 in this ball game. It'll keep it going for the number 9 hitter, Johnny Field. Field in his career against the Tigers only 1 for 13. He does have a little power, surprisingly. He's hit 6 homers this year.
He's a nice little defensive player, though. He's got 4 assists from the outfield. Can play center field and right field. Well, really, he can play all 3 outfield positions.
Here's the 1-0. Joe Mauer waiting on deck. That's in for a strike, and now 2-1 on Field. Twins have won 7 straight at home. They had the 4th most home wins in the American League. They just have gotten it done this year on the home turf in a big way. They came in with 37 home victories. Fouled that one out of the glove. 2 balls and 2 strikes on field. Swing and a miss. Carpenter with his first scoreless inning of the night. They get a single but stranded man. 4 in the books. By T-Mobile, nobody, and I mean nobody, can stop the Oakland Athletics right now. They won again today.
Unbelievable. I mean, they have been getting it done. They're now in a first-place tie, Mario, with the Houston Astros, who looked like they were going to run away with the American League West earlier this season.
Trevor Cahill was really good today for the A's. I was looking up some numbers, and the A's in mid-June, June 15th, were 11.5 games out.
Mid-June?
Mid-June.
11.5 out.
How you like me now, they're saying.
How about that? Billy Beane, for me, has to be right now the American League Manager of the Year.
I agree.
Right now, if they were to take that vote. Another scary statistic coming into play today. The Oakland Athletics had a run differential of plus 66. Plus 66 run differential. The Houston Astros had a run differential plus of 201.
Wow.
And they're now tied for first place.
So what is that telling you?
I don't know. You digest those numbers, please.
I mean, if you've got that much of a run differential over the team you're tied with, hard to figure that out. Oh, Nico is drilled.
Ain't even right.
Got him right in the hip, it appeared.
It ain't right.
He'll reach base for the 3rd time in this game.
That got him in a good spot, man. He's gonna try to walk it off, and it about knocked your breath out. I always like the reactions after the pitchers throw the ball. They drill you like that. They turn around real fast, like they didn't mean to do it.
Well, Goodrum has been wearing him out. He had walked 2 more times today. Now he's aboard with nobody out.
Nico Goodrum has been on fire since his former team let him go, especially against them. And you have to pitch guys inside to get them out.
Here is Victor Martinez, 0 for 2. Ground out and pop up for it. V Marty popped up with the bases jammed in the 3rd. Slow roller to first base. Mauer spins and out there. Ooh, Nico almost almost beat it.
Great hustle by Nico. He wants Gardenhire to take a look at it to see whether he beat it or not. He say
they're going to challenge this. That first look we had, this one right here, the clearest look, clearly beat it. That's not even close.
Great hustle by Nico.
This should not take long.
That's why we always talk about when you're on first base, you get as much of a secondary lead as you can. That might be the fastest ever.
Ever. It's got to be a record.
About 12 or 13 seconds.
2 on now, nobody out. It'll bring up Mikey Matuk.
And Nico Goodrum will try to steal third base at some point in time. That's just the kind of player that he is. And especially after Duffy smoked him with that 1-2 fastball.
38 seconds on that review.
Didn't seem like it was that long.
Mikey was hit by a pitch, and it turned out to be a huge play in the third. The Tigers had him loaded, 2 outs. Matuk was behind in the count. He was drilled to force in a run. And then Ronnie Rodriguez followed with a 2-run double. Tigers fell behind 2-0, led 3-2. Now it's 3-3. Ball too high to Matuk. Duffy allowed a double in the 4th, but did not give up a run. He came with some pretty good numbers, only allowing 3 hits in his last 9 1/3. Two at 2. Great chance here for the Tigers. 2 on, nobody out. They've had guys on base all night. Mikey drives one to left field, deep down the line, and it's gone. A 3-run line drive home run for Mikey Matuk. His second of the series, and the Tigers take the lead. Six-3 ball game. These two teams just continue to pound the ball out of the park.
Yeah, it's been a lot of home runs in this series already. And we got one more game to go.
.381 feet on the Matuk homer. That's a 4 RBI day now for Mikey. Ronnie Rodriguez had the key blowback in the third, a 2-run double.
And Ronnie Rodriguez, excuse me, Mikey Matuk has been getting consistent reps in left field. And pretty much since Jacoby Jones went on the disabled list, and taking full advantage of it. Now here's the Mikey Matuk home run. We're going to show you each pitch. The count's now 2-1, and what he likes to do, he likes to come with that little breaking ball. And it didn't do a whole lot, and Mikey Matuk was able to jump down and get it and hit a liner right out of the ballpark.
Ronnie thought about chasing, did not. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's been a frustrating season for Matuk, who found himself down in the minor leagues. But down at Toledo, put up decent numbers.
Cheesing now.
Fly ball right field. Johnny Field is back. First out of the inning.
Home run derby this series in Minneapolis. Balls are flying out of the ballpark. And for the Tigers, Castellanos, Goodrum, Matuk with a couple, McCann, Adrianza, Austin, Maurer. They have a couple apiece. Polanco, Rosario, and Sano with 2. That is 13 home runs so far in the series. 18 is the record for a 4-game series in this ballpark, in case you're wondering.
Hey, we might get there.
We have one more game to go.
Reiner couldn't hold up. You know, it's funny when you see guys hit home runs like that. They get back to the bench and they're just breathing so hard. All that adrenaline.
Exactly.
Hitting the ball out.
For sure. And Mikey pretty much knew that was a homer when it left his bat. I mean, he got it just right, and he could tell by the way that ball had backspin on it. It was going to carry out of the yard. That was one of those home runs where you don't have a whole lot of launch angle.
Got him. Strike 3. Greiner is caught looking.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. I mean, in case you missed it last night, a classic at bat by Victor Reyes. It was a 13 pitch at bat. We are going to give you a few of the pitches, but he found off 8 pitches with 2 strikes and finally got a walk out of Matt McGill at the top of the strike zone. It clearly was the best at bat of the season for Victor Reyes, and it was awfully fun to watch.
Well, and especially since Reyes had to come off the bench. He pinch hit for Gerber in that spot, so it's not like he had been in the game. He'll pull that one way down the right field line, but foul. Reyes still searching for that first major league homer. Now the 0-2.
Here comes that curveball by Duffy. It's his best pitch. He can really spin the baseball.
Here's the 1-2 in the air to center. Kepler going back, still going back to the warning track to Holiday. Big inning for the Tigers, courtesy of Mikey Matuk. Second home run of the series. This one a 3-run shot. 6-3 Tigers. his second home run of the series, a line drive shot over the left field wall. Joe Mauer will lead things off now against Carpenter. And he will take ball one. Mauer, Rosario, and Polanco for the Twins.
And Tigers need one more inning out of Ryan Carpenter. And with a goose egg up on the scoreboard.
2-0 on Mauer. Well, it was a very rocky start for Carpenter. Homer single double to start the ball game, but he eventually pitched out of that first, allowing just the one run on the homer. Mauer looks at a strike. 2-1.
Joe Mauer has such a great eye, and really has had since coming to the big leagues. In 14 seasons, he's a 300 hitter. On base percentage of nearly 400.
Slice to left. Base hit. Mauer at it again. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Nighttime starting to settle in here in the Twin Cities. Leadoff man on here is Eddie Rosario. Single and a fly ball for Rosario. .43 multi-hit games this year for Eddie, and that is good for a third in the American League. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Tigers have one more here tomorrow. They still have not announced who will go in the series finale. Tigers starting rotation has just been hamstrung with so many injuries. In fact, the entire roster has been hurt quite a bit this year. Swing and a miss. And Rosario retired. By the way, the Tigers are battling the Cubs in a two-game Minor League Series this Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd of August. Both are 7:10 p.m. starts. Great seats still available. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Here's Polanco. Tigers still have the Cubs. They have the Cardinals. They have the Brewers at the end of the year.
Yep.
For interleague play, I think that should be it. They will close out again in a National League park in Milwaukee.
How about that?
Never really understood that.
And not to close out the year. But I guess somebody has to do it.
Well, an American League team going to a National League park at the end of the year with something on the line would be without their DH. Popped up. Left side of the infield for Rodriguez, and there are two gone.
It's a big batter right here now that Carpenter's getting ready to go up against. Sano is pretty hot right now. He's already homered a couple of times in the series. You got to keep him in the ballpark, and that's exactly why Grayson Grinder's going to go out and have a conversation with Carpenter. Cannot make any mistakes here to the big fella.
Two-out solo shot for Sano back in the third, his second home run of the series. Sano back in 2015 finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting. Correa won it that year, then Lindor, and then Sano. And earlier this year, he found himself back in the minor leagues.
How about that? Neither of those guys even started the season in the big leagues, or those three guys.
Right.
And Correa didn't start the season in the big leagues, nor did Lindor or Sano. Kind of gives you an idea of how talented all three are. Sano hit a breaking ball out of the ballpark his last time up.
Chopped slowly toward third. Carpenter, tough play, long throw, not in time. Bang, bang, play at first, and Sano legs on an infield hit. So the Tiger run coming to the plate now.
And swinging bunt off the bat of Sano. Nice job by Carpenter. He gets over bare hands, takes his time. He fires a strike to a doozy, but not before. Sano hustling down that line. Gets that left foot on the bag before the throw gets in a doozy's glove. Carpenter thought he had him.
Forsythe is 0 for 2. Now 0 for 6 since his 5 for 5 game in the opener.
And Tigers kind of changed the way that they pitch Forsythe the last couple of days. More fastballs inside, more breaking balls on the outside part of the plate.
Maurer got a leadoff single, now an infield hit for Sano with 2 outs. The most this year for Carpenter in any start at any level was 106 pitches with Toledo. Pulled to third. Candelario wins the race to the bag. The inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. To the 6th we go. And Rod, the Tigers sent Ryan Carpenter to the mound in this ball game, gave up a home run, then a couple of hits. You thought, oh boy, this might be a long night, but you know what? He settled in nicely. He's done a pretty good job.
You know, I think Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, just does a marvelous job of leading some of these guys through some of these starts. I mean, you take a look at Rick Anderson. After every inning, he's talking to Carpenter, leading him with his pitches, the changeup, the breaking ball, and the fastball. And I think he's been able to keep him off balance.
Well, Mikey Matuk has had a big hit in this ball game. 2 home runs in the series now for Mikey. Good to see him take advantage of his playing time.
You know, I think Mikey's more relaxed right now than he's pretty much been all season long, because he didn't get off to a good start. Then he went down to the minors, and then when he came up, he was trying to catch up, so he's trying to do too much. But now with Jacoby being on the disabled list, Mikey has an idea. He's going to play every day, and he's playing relaxed baseball.
So the Tigers will bring a 3-run lead into play here in the 6th inning now as Tyler Duffy goes back out there. Top of the order coming up, it'll be Jeimer Candelario for the Tigers.
And Jeimer has 1 double in the game, and he also hit another line drive to left field his last time up. He hit it right on the screws, but Rosario made a nice play.
It's actually Trevor May now who has come on to pitch for the Twins. So May for Duffy, who replaced the starter Stewart in the Wallside Windows pitching change.
Only 6 games so far this year for Trevor May. Had Tommy John surgery and missed all of last season. Oh, good curveball there.
Candy with a double to start the game, then a ground out and a line out to left. The 1-2. Tigers have 6 runs on 5 hits. Twins have 3 runs on 8 hits. Swing and a miss, and Candelario is out on strikes. 1 away here in the 6th, and we bring in Johnny Kane.
All right, guys, our 2 favorite signs that we found here at Target Field today, Bill and young Henry. What does your sign say here, Henry?
My sign says, Youpers heart the Tigers.
Youpers love the Tigers. Hold it up there, Henry. Henry from Bessemer, Michigan. We also have Stanley and Kayla. How about this one, boys? We love Mario, Rod, and Johnny. Kayla, if I had to ask you, who do you love most out of those 3?
Oh, I don't know. It's a tie.
What if I got my wallet out? All right, hold that up there. Hold that up there. Yeah, that's a diplomatic response.
Yeah.
Who did the sign? Who did the sign,
Who
Johnny?
made the sign? Did you do this?
He didn't go out.
But we were both the
Thursday
brains.
night, we watched the game, make sure who was here.
Yeah, great penmanship.
So they know our work schedule, which is good. They knew Rod was going to be in the booth, so a little bit of love. Rod needs love.
Everybody needs a little love,
Mario
Johnny.
needs love. We all need a little love.
Johnny, she's just being kind. We know you're her favorite.
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Pretty cool, man. Tiger fans out here
good
in
signs.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, making the trip. How about Bessemer, Michigan? How far is that, Henry? How far of a drive?
Ours.
4 hours, he says.
Oh, and 2 is the count on Jim Aducey. Well, you got to love those signs.
That's a nice one there.
Yeah, you're right, man. The penmanship on that, the artistic ability.
Hold him up there.
Yeah, look at Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's a favorite. We
You
know
think Johnny? You think he got a little upset she didn't say him?
No, he's a good dude.
No. Oh, mercy.
In the air to center field. That's going to be routine there for Kepler, and there are 2 gone. Oh, Ducey retired. That'll bring up Castellanos. Nicholas with a walk and a couple of strikeouts in this game. He has scored a run. Now that's a great view. This is really a stunning ballpark. There's a high fly ball to right field, going to be playable for Johnny Field. To the corner he goes in a 1-2-3 inning for May. Bottom of the 6th on tap. It is 6-3 Tigers.
3 home runs early today for the Minnesota Twins. It was Maurer that got it going early in the game. He was the leadoff hitter in the bottom half of the first. Austin, the second consecutive day, he has homered along with Sano. The Tigers countered with a big home run, 3-run variety. It came off the bat of Mikey Montag. He did that in the 5th inning, and that put the Tigers in the lead.
And it is a lead they still enjoy as the Tigers hold on to a 6-3 edge. It'll be Kepler, Garver, and Austin coming up. Ryan Carpenter is still out there for the Tigers.
First 3 batters of the game today for the Minnesota Twins. Home run, single, and double, and they were all scalded. And since then, Carpenter has really settled in. A mixture of fastballs that got up to 91 miles an hour, good curveball, just a few changeups. You know, Griner is very familiar with Carpenter. He probably caught the majority of his starts down in the minors. They're working very well with one another.
Here's the 1-2. To shallow left field. Mott took under it, 1 gone. Time for a game break now, and Trevor Thompson. Well, he might be a little young for that. Who knows? We'll see what the Tigers have in plans. But now they've gone to the bullpen now, and Verhagen coming in will be back. For the night. Of course, the Tigers have had a lot of injuries, including Michael Fulmer, and now he has made another start down at Lakeland. 2 starts now, Rod. 6 innings, 1 base runner.
Well, they say he was dazzling after his first start down there, and it looks like he pitched very well again. 11 strikeouts in 2 starts, just 6 innings of work, and more than likely he'll make another start somewhere else before we see him.
What do we got here? Wallside Windows pitching change. We've got Drew Verhagen coming on.
And Drew's pitched well lately. And pitching in his 26th contest, 39 strikeouts, 12 walks, good heater, 94, 95, good curveball.
Mitch Garver is the first man he will face here in the 6th inning. Garver with a couple of fly balls close to center field. So Carpenter goes 5 1/3 tonight, 3 runs. 2-0 on Mitch. 3-run shot by Mikey Matuk is the difference. That was in the 5th inning, breaking a 3-3 tie. Pulled to third base. Jamer has it. Carver is out, 2 away. Hey Spartans, Fox Sports Detroit University days are back. Head to Comerica Park on August 24th. Tigers take on the White Sox and show your school spirit. Your ticket package includes a game ticket, Tigers cap in gray and white, then a donation back to your school. Tigers.com/MSU for more info. Two going now for Tyler Austin. Tigers on the DL right now. Miguel Cabrera, Michael Fulmer, Blaine Hardy, John Hicks, Jacoby Jones, Lewicki, Norris, ton.
It's a mash unit.
Hammered to left field. It's down, a base hit. Matuk will play it and hold him to a single.
Austin having a pretty good series. It's a breaking ball there thrown by Verhagen, and Austin stayed back nicely on it. He almost hit it like he was looking for it.
Jake Cave now is going to pinch hit for Field.
See where JD Martinez homered again tonight, giving him 38.
Is that one more than Ramirez now?
Yeah, they keep going back and forth. Every time Ramirez hits one, JD doesn't want to be outdone.
Could you possibly have 2 more distinct body types battling for the home run ton?
No, you could not. I mean, Mookie Betts is about 5'11" with a lot of power and some serious bat quickness, and JD Martinez about 6'3", 6'4", about 220 with a perfect swing right now. JD has one of the best right-handed swings in the game today.
Cave looks at strike 1.
Verhagen pretty much has mastered AAA. There's nothing more for Verlander to do. For Verhagen to do down in AAA. His month of May was unbelievable, which got him back to the big leagues.
Had that one area this year where he had to go on the disabled list with that nasal fracture. Was taken off the DL on July the 9th. Gabriel Moya warming up in the Twins pen. Diving low, 1-2 the count. It was the time of the year when the Tigers went into Cincinnati where it just took a U-turn. The Tigers were swept there. They lost 11 straight. Verhagen suffered a broken nose.
Yep.
The ebbs and flows of the season because the Tigers were cruising at that point.
Yeah, then the wheels came off for about a couple weeks. Tigers trying to snap a 4-game losing streak right now.
They'll get away, not far enough though from Griner. Grayson starting tonight in place of McCann.
Minnesota's 1-4 in a row.
He went around. So says home plate umpire Jeff Nelson. Inning is over. No runs, a single, and 1 man left. pick the stick update. And I've got 5 tonight to lead the way.
Yeah, you do. Got 5 tonight.
Gibby
How
got
about
a deuce.
Gibby? Gibby took a deucey. He's doing well tonight, too.
Got a new pitcher now, left-hander coming out of the bullpen is Gabriel Moya.
In 19 2/3 innings pitched so far this year for Moya. And he has 19 strikeouts, so he's averaging a strikeout per inning. And you're going to turn Nico Goodrum around to the right side. Nico was smoked on the right hip his last time up on a fastball from Duffy, Tyler Duffy.
Goodrum has also walked twice. He has scored 2 runs. He'll be followed by Martinez and Matuk. Moya doing some work on the mound right now, trying to get comfortable. And Nico looks at a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Tigers had been out hit in this game 9-5, but they lead by 3.
And Nico without an official at bat in this contest. He has walked twice and he's been hit once, and he has scored 2 runs.
Oh, 2 on Goodrum, who thought that one was wide. Now the 0-2 by Moya. If the season, Rod, were to end today, where do you think going into spring camp next year that they would look at for Nico Goodrum?
That's a great question.
I mean, do you think they would still look at him as an infielder,
I don't
possibly an
think so.
outfielder?
I don't think infield will be an everyday. Not second base, I don't think. Not every day. Even though he's played very well there, I just think he translates better into the outfield. That's just me personally. He has played very well at second base. He has gotten a whole lot better there.
Waiting on a 1-2 from Moya. Swing and a miss. He went up top. Nico down on strikes, 1 away here in the 7th. Eat, drink, and enjoy the excitement of Tigers baseball. Picnics and party suites are on sale right now for groups of 10 to 600. For group ticket information, call 313-471-BALL or text group text to 313-471-2255. Either way. Now Martinez. Victor reaching on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning. It turned out to be a big play. Nico was hustling down the line at first base, beat the throw at second. There were 2 on, and then the home run by Matuk. And that broke the 3-3 tie. Oh, 0-2 on V-Mart.
Every chance Paul Molitor gets, he turns Victor Martinez and Candelario, Nico Goodrum around to the right side. All 3 guys get much more plate appearances when batting left-handed, so he feels like with all the lefties in his bullpen, he can turn them all around the remainder of the way.
One and 2, of course, when September rolls around, both of these teams, everybody really in the major leagues, will have expanded rosters. We'll see who the Tigers have plans on taking a look at in the month of September. Always a good evaluation month for teams that are out of it. The 1-2 is inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's amazing how long the Tigers have gone this year, really without a lefty in the bullpen.
Right. They wish they would have had one last night for Mauer. Although that doesn't necessarily mean that he wouldn't have done what he did. But you like to have that lefty out there, though.
Victor staying alive, trying to extend his 7-game hitting streak. Martinez will be hanging it up at the end of the year, a 5-time All-Star selection. Indians, Red Sox, Tigers. Rolled to third base. That'll stay fair for Sano. And Victor is out, 2 gone. Now Mikey Matuk. Tigers have the lead thanks to Mikey, a 3-run shot in the 5th. It's been a 4 RBI night tonight for Matuk.
Nobody had Mikey Matuk and Ram pick the stick, did they?
Nope, and that's a mistake.
Sure was a mistake tonight.
Fouled away 0-1 on Matuk. Jacoby Jones still on the DL, starting to run a little bit now, so hopefully he'll be able to come back soon for the Tigers. Now Moya with the 0-1. Way inside, and the count levels now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Do you have any thoughts on where you think Nico's best position might be?
You know, I was thinking about that. Dan Dickerson and I were talking about that today, and I think we both kind of agree with you. The outfield might be his best landing spot.
Yeah. And not that he can't play infield, but there aren't many shortstops that are 6 feet 4 inches, 6 feet 5. I think Nico Goodrum and DJ LeMahieu are the tallest second basemen in baseball.
Now 3-1 on Matuk.
This much we do know about Nico. He is a tremendous athlete.
Well, that diving play he made out in center field the other day was unreal.
Oh, good.
I mean, he didn't even impress Iglesias. Here's the 3-1. Mikey takes ball 4. A big night just got bigger. On base for the 3rd time tonight, Matuk. And now Ronnie Rodriguez.
Trevor Thompson usually pulls Mikey Matuk off the board all the time in Ram pick the stick, but today he decided to go a different route.
You know, he did that just to spite me.
I think he did. He took my guy with the very first pick in the draft today.
The Victor, though, not having a big night. So you've made out okay in that respect. Rodriguez, a 2-run double in the 3rd. Fouled back out of play. Well, apparently Joe Mauer has been working on his launch angle since a youngster playing in the front yard. Just stick to the break and we'll show you.
They got Fox vision on it.
Statcast got the launch angle on Joe Mauer. We've got the exit velocity on Joe Mauer. He couldn't have been, what, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old there?
Maybe a little younger than
Younger
that.
than that, 3 maybe?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. You got to see this when we come back. Stick with us. We're going to put some numbers on Joe Mauer as a youngster.
That's what they're going to start doing sooner or
I
later anyway.
I know it. They're already recruiting in middle school now.
Can you imagine in Little League talking about launch angle and whatnot?
Yes, I can actually. I can see it coming. You know, it's funny, you watch the Little League World Series and you see these youngsters now with like the eye black that comes down their face, and they've got all the equipment and everything.
Oakley's on top of the hats.
Oakley's on the hats. So launch angle's not too far behind. The 2-1. 2-2 on Ronnie Rodriguez. Grayson Griner waiting on deck. Tigers fell behind early on a pair of home runs, 2-0, when they came storming back. Pair of 3-run innings for the Tigers. Moyes just a ball in motion on the mound.
Yeah, yeah.
Swinging the arm, kicking the leg.
He works slow too.
You notice that? That's flared to right field, slicing foul.
Once he gets on the mound, he's okay, but to get there, he's taking about 20 seconds in between pitches.
Two and two, the count on Ronnie Rodriguez. Moya, 23 years old, out of Venezuela. There goes the arm.
Yep, swings the arm, comes out.
There go the legs.
Ronnie Rodriguez having a pretty good at bat.
Getting a chance to play again for the 3rd straight game in this series. Still waiting on the return of Jose Iglesias, who's been bothered by that sore thumb. Ronnie rolls it foul. He doesn't seem to be, and I'm talking about Ronnie right now, is trying to find the right term, out of control or wild at the plate as he was his first time up.
No, I agree. I think he went back down to the minor leagues and he worked with one of the hitting coordinators down there, Bruce Field. And Bruce Field kind of quieted him down in the batter's box. He also moved him off the plate. The first time we saw Ronnie, he was stepping all the way down toward third base. He was really opening up prematurely, therefore he couldn't see the outside corner. He still opens up a little bit, but not to the extreme that he was opening up when we first laid eyes on him.
Holding the bat a lot lower. When he first got here, he had that Craig Counsell look where he had the bat over his helmet.
He was banging down in AAA, so he really had nothing else to prove down there.
Popped up. Left side of the infield. Polanco hauls it in, and that is that for the Tigers. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. in his front yard. We decided to put the StatCast on him. Launch angle 61 degrees. Exit velocity 10.3 miles an hour.
How far to travel?
Well, let's see. Doink, doink. 63 feet to the light pole. Now watch him run. Go, Joe, go. Joe's just going to arbitrarily run around the front yard here. And check out his speed. You could tell literally this kid was going to be a hitter.
All right, Joe.
Oh, man, that's funny. Here is the all-grown-up Joe Mauer. He'll start things off here in the 7th. Mauer, Rosario, Polanco. Tigers going back to the bullpen. Verhagen got a couple of outs in the last half inning, and now Victor Alcantara coming out for the Tigers.
Alcantara has been lights out since coming to the major league. 16 2/3 innings. You see that ERA. It is outstanding, 0.54. He's not walking many. He's punching out a bunch.
Oh. 2-0 on Mauer.
You know, Mauer, you might as well just throw it right down the middle and let him hit it at somebody. You're not going to trick him. Although he struck Mauer out a couple of nights ago, man, on a nasty two-seam fastball. It was wicked.
Swinging away, he launches one to left field. Matuk on the run, not going to get there. One hopper off the wall, and Mauer has a leadoff doubled in the 7th.
Mauer is swinging the bat very well in the series. Here's our 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game. This was a pinch hit at bat for Joe Mauer against Lewis Coleman. 3-2 count, 3-run home run, which put the Minnesota Twins in the lead. Then the leadoff hitter today for Minnesota hit a home run off the left-hander Ryan Carpenter. So Joe Mauer has gotten busy today. He has a couple of doubles and he has a home run.
So here is Rosario with nobody out. 3-run game. Up to the Tigers bullpen to hold this tonight. Rosario 1 for 3, singled in his first at bat. Ball 1.
And Ron Gardenhire desperately needs to find somebody who could pitch the 7th inning. Alcantara gets that opportunity here tonight.
Two 2-0. Well, one of the things Alcantara was able to master from his minor league days was his ability to throw strikes or inability to throw strikes, and he's done a lot of that this year.
He's got wicked stuff.
Yeah, his walks were very high, but you're right, his stuff is electric, as they say. The 2-0. And now he's gone to 3-0.
He fell behind Joe Mauer 2-0 before Mauer doubled over the head of Mikey Monta. Now he's fallen behind Rosario.
Rosario thought he had a walk. 5 steps to first base. Jeff Nelson said, "Where you going?" 3-1. On the ground to the right side. Nico down to a knee. Rosario is out. Advanced Mauer to third. 1 gone.
Take a look at Victor Alcantara's fastball. And the other day he was throwing 94 to 96 miles an hour. But take a look at this one to Joe Mauer right here. I mean, that is just absolutely wicked. The tailing action on that. Real nice cutter there to Sano. His ball was moving all over the place, and that's one of the reasons why he has been lights out since coming to the big leagues.
Here's Polanco. A double early in this game for Polanco, 1 for 3. In there, a strike called.
Fastball is not straight. It's got some really nice late tailing action on it. And the velocity is in the mid-90s.
Alcantara acquired in the Cameron Maben deal a couple of off seasons ago, and sometimes you don't know what you're getting in these trades.
Exactly.
I mean, you may get a diamond in the rough. You may get a guy that never gets a day out of the minor leagues. All you can do is go on your scouting and hope they develop. And Alcantara has done that. One and two on Polanco. Two. There's action. Alex Wilson, who had an uncharacteristic night a couple of nights ago. Walked in a run. Swing and a miss. Alcantara comes back to strike out Polanco. 2 gone.
And real good changeup there thrown to Polanco.
Upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Tomorrow night's going to be Jake Odorizzi for the Twins. The Tigers still have yet to announce their starter tomorrow night.
And traded for Odorizzi. They got him from the Tampa Bay Rays. And before the season started, it hasn't been a great season for Odorizzi. 5-7 with a 4.44 earned run average.
The Twins in spring training thought they would have a fairly loaded rotation. They
Yeah.
traded for Lance Lynn, Odorizzi, Santana went down. They had Rios.
Yeah. They felt like they were going to be in contention most of the year, but a couple of injuries and a suspension to their shortstop. And then Logan Morrison really didn't have a good year.
Yeah.
Lance Lynn didn't have a good year.
Logan Morrison ended up on the disabled list. One and one on Miguel Sano, who's had a couple of hits, infield single, believe it or not, and a homer. Two and one on Sano. Forsythe on deck for the Twins. Three and one now on Sano. Should he walk, that would bring the tying run to the plate.
Gonna have to challenge him with a fastball. Watch Sano take batting practice these days. Everything he hits the center field. Really trying to work on using the big part of the ballpark.
He unloaded there, fouled it off.
It's a good fastball by Alcantara. It was 96 with movement. He's not afraid.
There are some guys who rather throw 96, 95, but don't have the movement. And those are the guys that probably don't stick around all that often or that long.
He's got a lot of late life on his two-seamer.
Sano stays alive. Alcantara, 25 years old. Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, his hometown. And Sano ropes one to third foul. Mauer started the inning with a double. He is standing at third down with 2 outs. It's been a lengthy at bat for Sano. And he walked him, so Alcantara gives up a 2-out walk, which will bring the Tiger end to the plate. Sano on board for the 3rd time in this game.
Yeah, Rick Anderson going to stroll out and have a little bit of a conversation with the rookie right-hander.
Fans, MLB.TV is now available at a lower price, only $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV. Take advantage of this special offer. So Alcantara now has thrown 21 pitches here in the 7th. He's allowed a double and a walk. And now Forsythe, who is 0 for 3. What specifically have the Tigers done to Forsythe here to slow him down after game 1?
Well, they started pitching him inside a little bit more aggressively yesterday. Matthew Boyd did that, and then they started going with some breaking balls outside, and he was still looking for fastballs inside. And so they've just kind of kept him off balance. I mean, the night he had the 5 hits, they did not throw him 1 pitch inside, and he had 5 hits the other way. So they've mixed up their pitches. They've shown him inside, and they haven't thrown as many balls right down the heart of the plate. And if you do that, you can have success against a guy that was on fire. See, that's what they've done. They go away with the fastball, and then they come right back inside with a good hard fastball. But if you're Alcantara here, you got so much movement with your 2-seamer, man, you don't want to hit him.
Now the 0-1. 0-2 now on Forsythe. And Kepler waiting on deck.
You notice Griner sets up right down the middle of the plate because Alcantara has such great movement on that 2-seam fastball. And he just lets that ball go where it wants to go. Check out Griner. He'll be right down the middle.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Forsythe is out on 3 pitches. And the Twins will lead 2. Go to the 8th inning. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. 6-3 lead in Rod, what has been, I guess, one of those grinder games, but this is what this Tiger team has done most of the year. They're able to grind.
Well, Tigers are pitching today. At first it was Carpenter who went out there. Then you have Verhagen coming in, and Alcantara goes out there and doesn't give up anything. So far, so good for the Tigers bullpen.
What about Carpenter today? It looked kind of rocky early, but he settled in, got his team into the 5th, 6th, 7th innings now where the bullpen can kind of do its thing.
It's the best we've seen Carpenter in the big leagues. He's had 4 starts up until this start here today, but he mixed in all of his pitches. His fastball topped out at 91, but he used his breaking ball effectively. Little changeup, and he kept his hot offense off balance.
How about all the power in this series? Man, the balls are flying out of this park.
The record from the 4-game series is 18 home runs. They already have 13, so we're on our way.
Addison Reed will come out of the bullpen now for the Twins as we go to the top of the 8th. It'll be Grayson Greiner to lead things off for the Tigers. So they've gone with Duffy, they've gone with May, they've gone with Moya. Now Reed out of their bullpen. Greiner looks at his strike and they got quickly 0-2 on Grayson.
Addison Reed, a former closer for the Chicago White Sox back in the day. And he was a good closer for the White Sox.
Sweeping breaking ball. He laid off 1-2. More action now. Jimenez in the Tigers pen. Two and 2 on Grayson. Greiner was walked in the 2nd. He is 0 for 2 otherwise. Inside now, he's gone 3-2.
Addison Reed thought he had strike 3 there with that fastball inside. But Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, did not go up with that right hand.
Walked him. He got ahead 0-2 and now a leadoff walk. He's bringing Johnny Keane. He's got a little bit of a history lesson for us.
Does he?
Well, you know, as deep as I can get, boys. I'm up here at the Minnie and Paul porch in straightaway center field, okay? We know we're in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, for which the Twins are named. Well, they originated back in 1961, so this is the original logo of the Minnesota Twins. So it's Minnie and Paul, 2 ball players dressed in the old garb, shaking hands over the Mississippi River. So anytime a Minnesota Twin Joe Mauer hits a home run or 2 in this series, this sign lights up and the hands kind of light up and they look like they're shaking hands over the mighty Mississippi.
It's been lighting up a lot in this series, Johnny.
It has. But they don't light them up when we hit them out. I don't think it lit up for Mikey Matuk's homer.
Minnie and Paul. Never
What do you
knew
know?
that. Yeah, who knew?
That's a nice history lesson there, Johnny.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
All right.
0-2 the count on Victor Reyes. Reyes is 0 for 3 in this game. Almost hit him, buckled him out of the way. It occurs to me, Rod, how many guys do you know named Minnie?
1.
Do you? Oh, Minoso?
Yeah, Minnie Minoso.
Oh, yeah, okay, I take it back. Trying to think of any Minnies. Reyes waiting on a 1-2.
Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, but that's not a guy. Slice to left field, base hit. And Tigers has something going now here in the 8th.
They might as well score a few more runs. Another nice at bat for the rookie. And Rule 5 player Victor Reyes, 90 miles an hour fastball up top. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Real solid swing and by the rookie.
Jamer has a double. That was in his first at bat way back in the 1st inning. He is 1 for 4 tonight. Tigers trying to tack on here. They lead by 3 in the 8th. Jamer offering a bunt, pulls it back. trying to get the wave going here at Target Field with very little success. Reed now with the 1-0. Two out of 13 in the series for Candelario. Reiner let off with a walk and a single by Reyes. Popped up right side of the infield. Infield fly rule is called. Candelario is out. Runners hold. Fans, join us again tomorrow. The Tigers wrap up this 4-game series with the Twins. All of your game coverage begins with Tigers Live at 1. That's tomorrow afternoon. The Tigers and Twins right here. Fox Sports Detroit. Here is Jim Adduci. Single double for Adduci. Gardenhire has used Adduci now in the 2-spot in the lineup for a few games in a row here.
He's had some nice at-bats in that 2 spot. Hitting in front of Castellanos. And Candy's been leading off for about a week straight.
Little chopper slowly towards second base. Forsythe flipped to second one, and he threw it away. Coming around to score on the play is Greiner, and the Tigers will certainly take that. Ill-advised relay throw. Don't think they were going to get Adduci.
No, Polanco should have eaten this one. No need to throw this one to first base, but he tried to hurry and throw it over there, and he threw wildly, and even with a dive, Joe Mauer couldn't get there. And watch him drop down to that sidearm angle. I mean, he missed Mauer by 10 feet because he hurried the throw.
7-3 ball game. Error charge to Polanco. No RBI in the play. Meanwhile, Adduci takes second. Here is Castellanos. First error of the ball game for either side. Nicholas tonight with a walk and run scored. Oh, 2. Nico waiting on deck. Tigers out on off day Monday, then the Cubs come in. The White Sox are in for 4 next week.
So Tigers have a homestand where both Chicago teams going to show up, huh?
They are indeed. Well, Nick caught looking, didn't like it.
It's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Nicholas.
Tigers get a big run though now, 7-3. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. To the bottom of the 8th we go here in Minneapolis. It is 7-3. Tigers have been out hit 10-6, but they lead by 4. Joe Jimenez coming out of the Tigers bullpen.
Jimenez pitching in his 56th ball game this year. He's logged 51 in the 3rd innings. 3.33 ERA. He's only walked 15. He has punched out 58. Joe needs a clean inning. It's been a while since Joe's had a clean inning.
Little high, and they count 2-0 now on Max Kepler. Garber and then Austin to follow. Joe has given up 2 hits in each of his last 2 outings. Gave up a run in the first game in this series. And he just missed threading the needle out there.
And good fastball right there from Jimenez at 98 miles an hour. Ron Gardenhire has said that he's going to watch Jimenez very closely down the stretch. He and Buck Farmer have pitched in a lot of games this year.
Walked him. Leadoff man on here in the 8th.
And Joe will take a ground ball right here.
Instead, it's ball 1.
And nothing wrong with the velocity. One pitch he threw to, and Kepler came in there at 98 miles an hour. There you go.
It's in there. Last year, Jimenez threw 45 innings combined between the big leagues and the minor leagues. It's fouled back out of play. 97 on that heat. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, where the Tigers are taking on the Twins tonight. Mario and Rod and Johnny King. Glad to have you with us. Chris Wasilewski is producing our show tonight. Michael Odino, our director. It's been a night in which the Tigers have led throughout. They're up 7-3. Outside. 2-2. Joe has already pitched more innings this year than he did all of last year, and that's why the Tigers will keep a very close eye on how many he will throw. That ball belted to left, way back, and that ball is gone. Mitch Garver has just hit a 2-run shot. Another homer, the 4th of the night for the Twins.
That is the 15th home run in this series. And we still have some time to go in game 3 and another game tomorrow. Don't know what's going on with Joe lately, but coming out of the All-Star break, he has struggled a bit. It's a 2-2 breaking ball, hanging breaking ball at 87 miles an hour. And Garver hit an absolute seed. into the bleachers.
Well, it's a 2-run game now. It's a big run the Tigers got on the top of this inning. 7-5 ball game. And Tyler Austin has homered twice in the series.
15 total home runs by 11 different players so far in this series. I've never seen Minnesota hit home runs like this before.
Nope, I haven't either.
They've always had them scrappy teams. Could score some runs, could steal a base, could wreak some havoc, but I've never seen them hit home runs like this.
And it's not like they're hitting wall scrapers
Oh,
either.
no.
These things are going out by a long margin.
I mean, Austin hit some home runs. One last night that hit at last went about 450 feet. He hit another one today about 420.
They haven't gotten Austin out tonight. Homer, 2 singles. They got him out now. First out of the inning, first strikeout for Joe.
I don't know what it is about those base on balls late, man, but they always come around to score. He walked Kepler to lead off the 8th.
Series finale tomorrow on the air at 1 on Fox Sports Detroit. Jake Cave is up there with 1 out. Cave came on to pinch hit in the 6th and struck out against Gruber Hagen. Pounded foul, back out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tigers in the 9th inning will have Goodrum, Martinez, and Matuk. So the Twins now have 11 hits to 6 for the Tigers.
Twins have been swinging the bat very well this entire homestand. They haven't lost a game. They've won 7 in a row here at home.
Here's what is odd about this series. You've got 2 teams that hit the fewest home runs in the league.
Yeah.
Tigers the fewest at 99. Minnesota among the lowest at 126. Now he's gone 3-1. Well, you don't want to walk in because the tying run is Mauer and he's on deck.
And Mauer already with a double, a single, and a homer today.
Two. Tigers have had 3 relievers in this game: Verhagen, Alcantara, and Jimenez. After the starter, Carpenter got him into the 6th. So Jimenez now at 20, 11 strikes.
Already a lot of pitches thrown by Jimenez. He's thrown 20, and he still has 2 outs to get. Starting to get into that territory where he won't be used tomorrow.
Walked him. Second walk in the inning, and now the tying run will indeed come to the plate.
Well, Mario, you and I have been broadcasting games in Detroit for a long time. 15 years for me, 16 for you, and we've pretty much seen every last one of Joe Mauer's hits against the Tigers. We've seen all of his games, and he's done a lot of damage against Detroit pitching. And the Tigers had some good pitchers. I mean, we're talking about Verlander and Scherzer and Anibal Sanchez and Porcello. They had Fister for a couple of years. It's not like he was beating up on guys that couldn't pitch. Tigers had good pitchers.
Well, he's the all-time leader in their franchise in doubles. We talked about the batting titles he's won, the MVPs he has won. As Gardy said before the game today, maybe his bat speed is not quite what it once was, but the swing has never changed.
No doubt about that.
And when you talk about pure left-handed swings, the only other name I guess that really quickly comes to mind is Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
Rod Carew had a pure swing.
Robbie Cano too.
And Mauer looks at a strike.
He has not swung at a first pitch in any of the games that we have played against them in the last 2 series.
Low ball 1.
Yeah, Mauer a triple away from the cycle.
Homered in the first, he singled in the 5th and doubled in the 7th. Got a rip there.
Good pitch by Jimenez. A breaking ball at 91 at the bottom of the strike zone. Great location.
Popped up foul, back out of play. Mauer, a career 300 hitter against the Tigers, 305. Came in with the best batting average in baseball with men in scoring position. Now the 1-2.
What a block there by Griner. It's a changeup that Joe threw right into the ground.
Fouled away. Mauer, 35 years old, is in the final year of his contract.
He done?
Which he signed in 2011. Signed through 2018.
Think he's done?
Here or playing?
Playing, period.
No. No, I think he still plays, don't you?
Well, he can still play. They can't let him get away, can they?
No, I just don't see it.
He's one of those guys that has to spend his entire career in this uniform.
Two and 2 on Mauer. A walk to Cave. With 1 out, 2 runs in. Another foul back out of play.
A lot of fastballs at the top of the strike zone, all 97, 98. Mauer continues to get a piece of them. They haven't gone at the bottom of the strike zone too often against Joe. He's a better low ball hitter than he is high ball hitter. Therefore, they're trying to get him up in the strike zone. See where most of those pitches are at the top of the zone.
Oliver Drake and Trevor Hildenberger warming up. Here come the "Let's Go Joe" chants. Another foul.
That could be for us too now. We got a Joe out there.
I'm gonna bet it's Mauer.
But if you Jimenez out there, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
they're rooting for me.
They like me here.
It's been a nice confrontation here.
Well, it's going to be the 30th pitch now in the inning for Jimenez.
It's going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
And another foul as Mauer continues to battle.
Good pitch to change up. He went down again in the bottom of the zone.
.30 now for Jimenez. 2-run shot in the inning by Mitch Garvin made it 7-5. Then a 1-out walk to Cave, and now Mauer is up there.
Tigers closer Shane Green starting to heat up in the bullpen just in case Jimenez needs some help getting out of this inning.
Hey, Mauer, he has seen everything.
Yep, but the kitchen sink.
Now he's gone 3-2. There is Shane Green in the Tigers pen.
I don't think Paul Molitor will be afraid to start Cave from first base on a 3-2 pitch. He has enough trust in Joe Mauer not to strike out.
Runner goes, and another foul.
This is starting to shape up like the Victor Reyes at bat last night in the top half of the 9th inning for the Tigers, where he saw 13 pitches from Matt McGill.
Eddie Rosario waiting on deck. In the air to center field. Reyes going back, makes the catch halfway onto the warning track. That ball took off on Victor, and he ran back there nicely and hauled it in. What an at-bat by Mauer. He'll get a round of applause for that.
Man, Victor didn't take the greatest route to get there, but he was able to gather himself and make a real nice play. And Joe Mauer making a bid for a triple. That would have been for the cycle. He thought he hit it over Victor's head. You saw Victor get turned around, crossed up, but he was able to gather himself with his athleticism and make a play.
It's going to be it for Jimenez. He'll depart the scene as Reyes runs it down right in front of the wall and saves the day for the time being. Tigers go to the pen. We'll be back.
Series won by Victor Reyes last night. This one by Joe Mauer. First few pitches at the bottom of the strike zone. Then he tried to get Mauer to chase up in the zone, and Joe Mauer continued to foul off pitch after pitch after pitch until he got to pitch number 12. and he smoked the ball to straightaway center field that Victor Reyes went back and made a real nice play on for the second out of the inning. But Joe threw way too many pitches and couldn't finish the eighth.
And because of that, Shane Green has had to come on now here to try and get the final out of the eighth.
And not only the final out of the eighth, but he'll be pitching the ninth as well. So it'll be a 4-out save for Shane Green if he's able to get it done.
Here is Eddie Rosario with 2 outs.
He'll be swinging.
And Rosario looks at a strike right at the knees. Didn't like the call.
'52nd game this season for Shane Green. He has 25 saves. This will be number 26 if he's able to get 4 outs. The ERA kind of high for a closer at 4.71.
Rosario drills one to left field, and Matuk runs it down to end the inning.
Last 2 balls off the bat of Bauer, and Rosario smoked.
Back to the bullpen. It's going to be Oliver Drake, the right-hander, coming in.
And 30th game this season for Oliver. He checks in with a high ERA of 6.34, and opponents hitting over 300 against him. He's also pitching for his 5th major league team this season.
Nico Goodrum leads it off, and he looked like he wanted to show bunt. Looks at strike 1. Nico on base 3 times, walking twice, hit by a pitch, and scoring twice.
Yeah, Minnesota really hasn't given Nico a whole lot to hit tonight. And they walked him a couple of times. They hit him once. And he struck out his last time up.
Popped up down the first base line for Mauer. Nico is out of there, 1 gone. Bring Victor Martinez.
Ron Gardner has had some really nice things to say about Victor Martinez today. And Victor has said that more than likely this will be his last year at age 39. And Ron Gardner says he really appreciates how Victor Martinez polices the clubhouse for him, and which means as a manager he doesn't have to do it because he has a veteran player like Victor that's willing to do so. I don't know what in the world I'm going to do with my Ram pick the sticks next year if Victor don't come back.
Still pick him. Go for it. We encourage that, actually. Honorary picks every night. Go with Victor. Vimar 2,130 hits coming into play tonight in his illustrious career, which began in '02.
And started out as a catcher for the first number of years in the big leagues in Cleveland and Boston. But when he signed his first deal with the Tigers, it was as a designated hitter, and that's pretty much what he's done the last 6 or 7 years. He has crushed the Twinkies. He and Miguel Cabrera.
Victor in his youthful days was a shortstop in Venezuela. When the Indians signed him, they brought him in and quickly figured out he's probably not going to project as a shortstop. That's pulled right into the shift and right to the second baseman, Forsythe. 2 gone.
Just like we promised you, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and Mikey Montauk has provided us with a couple of really nice moments in this 3-game series that have been played so far. One more game tomorrow, 2 homers. He homered today as well, 3-run variety. Look out, Mikey.
Four driven in today for Matuk. The Tigers, by the way, still will see Sano before this one is over. They've got Polanco, Sano, and Forsythe to the Twins in the bottom of the 9th. They had 17 men left on base in this game, 9 for the Twins, 8 for the Tigers. Drake ready with the 1-1. 1-2 on Matuk. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Mikey is gone. 1-2-3 inning for Drake. Here we go, bottom of the 9th coming up. Polanco, Sano, and Forsythe on the way. combined home runs brings the series total to 15. And Carpenter tonight, bottom is pretty good.
He scattered 8 hits today, 3 earned runs. All those runs came on solo shots. But the key there is Carpenter didn't walk anybody here today, which is a very nice job. And Cole Stewart, who they saw a few days ago at Comerica Park, did not look like nothing like the Cole Stewart we saw when he made his major league debut.
So Shane Green had to come out and get the final out of the 8th. Now he's going to face Polanco, Sano, and Forsythe, trying to get a 4-out save.
It would be the second time this year that Shane Green has gotten a 4-out save, if he's able to accomplish that here with the 9th inning.
Polanco is 1 for 4, a double in his first at bat. Minnesota's 7-game home winning streak on the line in this one.
And Shane Green with a good fastball. He can get up to 95, 96. He's got a nice little tight slider. He's done nice work really in his first season as a full-time closer.
One and two. And Polanco takes high now. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Twins shortstop. He's had a double and a homer in the series. He's knocked in 4. Got him, strike 3. Was backing out of there and he's caught looking.
It's a nice little swing back fastball there thrown by Greeny in the mid-90s. He started the ball off the plate inside. Look at the running action on the pitch though to catch that inside corner though. Wow, that's wicked.
Home run for Sano back in the 3rd, a solo shot. Carpenter gave up 3 homers tonight, all of them solos. Strike 1.
That's exactly where you want to pitch Sano, right there. 82, bottom of the strike zone, outside black. You can show him inside on occasion, but where that pitch is located right there, nothing Sano could do with that one. Go inside one time and you go right back outside. You know, it'd be even better here if he doubled up with that fastball inside.
That ball hit high in the air towards shallow left center. And look out, Reyes cuts in front of Matuk and makes the catch.
And they don't have good communication out there.
They really don't. I mean, we've seen that a lot.
I don't know what it is, man, but then Mikey Matuk, he went down to a knee and with some frustration.
Gardy was saying just the other day that, you know, the one thing when we go to camp next year, we've got to improve our communication, our cutoffs, and our relays.
Well, you heard Mikey calling it, and then all of a sudden here comes Reyes, and Mikey's like, come on, man.
2 outs.
But the bottom line is the center fielder is the captain in the outfield, and he can catch whatever he wants to catch. Chet Lemon never let anybody catch anything in the outfield.
Is that right?
Never.
I believe it.
Ask Gibby. Never let anybody catch anything. Chet was all over the place.
Now the 1-0.
You got so many moving pieces on our outfield, though. I mean, we really haven't had 3 guys play out there consistently all season long. Matuk's been in the minors. Victor hasn't really played that much. Castellanos has been in right, but we've had Jones out there. We've had Martin in the outfield. You know, you've had a lot of different guys out there in different positions. Nico's been in the outfield.
It's been somewhat of a merry-go-round. Forsythe looks at a ball outside, 2-1.
And the one thing about a big league stadium is when that ball goes up, especially when Sano hits it, the fans, they get loud. They think it's a home run when the ball goes up most of the time. And then the outfielders, you have to have the ability to take your eye off the baseball and look at one another every now and then have confidence in seeing the baseball again. Because a lot of times you're not going to hear them call it.
No. Well, now Green 1 strike away, 2-2 on Logan Forsythe.
This will be a nice win for the boys after dropping that gut-wrenching loss in yesterday's game. You know, I was thinking about yesterday's game, Mario. Yesterday's game, the way we lost that game was the way that we used to lose games in the Metrodome. Just cruising along. I mean, Verlander would be on the mound, just cruising along. 3 or 4 run lead, then all of a sudden, late in the game, they would just do something. Ball get lost in the ceiling, and the next thing you know, we're walking home. We're not literally walking home.
2-2 on Forsythe. Sawed him off, rolled toward third base. Candy charging, gloving, throwing, got him. And the Tigers win here tonight in Minneapolis.
They've really done a nice job on Forsythe the last couple of days.
7-5 your final score. Now we send you to the Coliseum Studios. Trevor Thompson, Tigers live postgame.